Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be seeing how many books I could read in the month of July. I actually did this challenge last July, and it's honestly a coincidence that I'm doing it again during July. I'm in honestly such a bad book slump. I'm in the middle of 2 books right now, and I need to get out of the slump. One of the books I'm in the middle of currently is The Midnight Library. I was actually reading this for a different YouTube video, and it did not go well. I filmed about 4 clips, and then I got into the worst slump of my life. I picked this book because me and my friend Sydney are currently buddy reading it, and I'm enjoying it, but I can't get through it. So I guess that doesn't mean I'm enjoying it. Okay. I want to try to get through this, but if I can't get through this, I'm just going to push it to the side and read something else. Then the second book I'm in the middle of is Strange Pictures. This book is so cool, and I didn't even pick it up. My boyfriend and I went to Barnes & Noble the other day, and he wanted to start getting into reading, so he actually picked this book, and somehow I ended up starting to read it, and I'm literally in the middle of it, and I need to know what happens. It's like a horror book, and it has multiple different stories, and they're all connected somehow, and I need to finish this. So I got the book on my Kindle, and I think this is going to be what I read next. And like I said before, I did go to Barnes & Noble, so of course I had to buy myself something. I got Mockingjay, which is the 3rd book in the Hunger Games trilogy. I am so excited to read this because I read Catching Fire in May, maybe at the end of May, beginning of June, and I just need to know what happens after that ending. And I was only gonna get 1 book, but then I caved and got another one. Got One Golden Summer. I've heard so much about this book that I needed to read it. The main male character is from Every Summer After, which I did read. It was like one of the first books I read when getting into reading, so I just knew I had to pick this book up. Also, it's so pretty. This cover is gorgeous, and I think I need a summer romance to get me out of the slump. So those are currently the books on my roster, I guess you'll call it. I also have like a billion more books on my physical TBR that I definitely want to get through. Also, last time, I don't think I actually made a guess on how many books that I think I'm capable of reading in the month of July. But this year, I think I'm gonna guess 4. That is a lot for me because I've been averaging 2 books a month, which is not good for my goal. I'm also picking 4 because my reading goal is behind 4 books right now, so I'm hoping I could get on top of my reading goal again. Anyway, let's get on to reading. So it's been a week since my last clip, and I have great news. I finished my first book. Everyone applaud. Thank you, thank you. I was able to finish this book because I read it on my Kindle. I swear, whenever I'm in a book slump, the best thing to do is pick up my Kindle because I'm able to read at night and in the dark or anywhere I go. So the first book I finished was Strange Pictures. I gave this book a 4 stars. I did really enjoy this book, but the ending did fall flat for me. The book is 4 separate stories and they all connect somehow, and I thought that was so cool. I enjoyed it so much. And it was a really dark book. There is some really dark themes in here, so that's just a warning for you. But once I found out the last big spoiler, I guess, I just knew what was gonna happen. But I would definitely recommend this book. I wouldn't have picked up this book unless my boyfriend was reading it, so I'm so glad I found this. I also post all my reviews on Goodreads, Storygraph, and Fable, so you can find me all there. All my stuff is going to be linked in the description. On those apps, there's much more detailed reviews than what I'm giving right now. It's just really hard to describe this story because I don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, the first book is complete in my July reading challenge. I'm feeling really good. It is July 10th, so we're getting farther into the month, and I've only finished 1 book, but it's okay. I think I said this before, but I'm also in the middle of The Midnight Library, and I got it on my Kindle, so hopefully I could read it because I'm really struggling to pick up the physical book right now. And since I finished Strange Pictures so fast on my Kindle, I hope I could finish The Midnight Library as fast. And that is my reading update so far. So I'm currently outside right now, and I would just want you guys to ignore all the bird sounds you're gonna hear or any other noises you hear. I live literally in the woods, so there's so many animals. Anyway, I decided to come outside to read The Midnight Library. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook because I think it's so much easier for me to do that and follow along so I could actually get through the story. I'm not sure why I'm having such a hard time reading this book, but I just can't get through it. I think I just keep thinking about One Golden Summer that I got the other day, and I really want to read it, so I'm trying to finish this book so I can read that book. Also, you guys are probably thinking, why don't you just DNF this book? But I'm not going to do that because 1, I'm reading this with my friend Sydney, so I feel obligated to finish it, and also I don't DNF books. I don't know why. The only book that I really DNF'd was Just for the Summer, which is crazy, but it was just a soft DNF, so I am going to go back to that book. But I was in such a bad book slump that I knew I was probably going to give it a low rating, and I think that could be a 5-star book. Anyway, let's get to reading. So my camera battery died, so I came inside to charge it, then I went back outside to read, but then there was wasps, so I came inside to read. I'm currently on page 94 right now, and I'm actually really enjoying this story. I don't know why I was having such a hard time picking it up. The concept of this book is honestly so unique. I wish I could kind of experience this. I love my life right now, but I wish I could see if I made a different choice, what my life would be like. This book also has a ton of good quotes, and I never really highlight things in my Kindle, but I did highlight like 2 of them, so I want to read them to you. A person was like a city. You couldn't let a few less desirable parts put you off the whole. There may be bits you don't like, a few dodgy side streets and suburbs, but the good stuff makes it worthwhile. And another one I really liked was, because Nora, sometimes the only way to learn is to live. This book gives me such a different view on life. I feel like I'm learning the basics of life while reading this. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading, but I'll see you guys soon. What is this? Okay, so I'm like 50% through this book, and I am struggling so much. Like, it's not even funny. I have honestly not even read a page myself. I've just been listening to the audiobook, and that is the only way I'm getting through this book. Which sounds terrible because I do enjoy this book, but it's just not hitting as much as it did in the beginning. Like, I felt like I was learning so much about myself, so much about life and people, but now we're just like in this one journey and I'm just so bored. I think the issue is that I literally just want to read my next book, and I just want to be done with this book, which is really bad because I don't want to rate this book bad because I don't want to read it right now, but it's had time to process. Anyway, I have like this much left of the book. That looks like a lot. It is. Because I'm on page 144 and there's 288 pages, I think, in the book. So I'm just... It's also somehow July 15th. Let me know where the time went. It was literally just July 1st, 2 weeks ago, and now we're like basically halfway through July. Like, why is July going so fast? And I have a reading challenge I need to be doing. But on the other hand, I made a smoothie, so I'm gonna drink my smoothie and listen to the audiobook. I'm back with great news, and I literally feel like the meme with the guy that has handcuffs on them and like the handcuffs broke and the sun is like setting, because I finished the Midnight Library. Yes, 2 books done. I am so proud of myself right now because I was struggling to get through this book. Let's just say my emotions were like a roller coaster. I was literally going like this through the book. So I'm giving the Midnight Library a 3.25 stars, and don't criticize me on my 0.25 and my 0.5 and my 0.75. If I just used 3 stars or 4 stars, like whole numbers, my ratings would be crazy. That's why I used 0.25, 0.5, and 0.75. Anyway, back to this book. I have no words. I still am intrigued by the concept of this book, and it is a really unique concept, but the execution was not my favorite. It was fun in the beginning to see Nora going through this life and this life, but then after 4 lives, it gets very repetitive. Also, in the middle of the book, I got so bored. That's why I, thank God, had the audiobook, because that is how I got through this book. Also, I got so annoyed at the end of this book because something happens and there's literally 20 more pages left of this book, and I just want this girl to have a happy ending. So that's why I'm giving it a 3.25 stars. Now that I'm free with that book, you know what it's time for. Yep, it's time. Literally, I feel like this whole video I'm talking about how much I'm craving a summer romance, and I think One Golden Summer is going to help me. I don't know if I explained the premise of this book, but I honestly don't know much about it. I just know it's about Alice and Charlie, and Alice takes a picture when she's 17 of like this speedboat, and on the speedboat is Charlie, like the male love interest, but I think they somehow reconnect. Do not quote me on this. Anyway, I'm really excited to read this book because I read Every Summer After, also by Carly Fortune, and Charlie is also in that book, and that's where like he kind of like originates from. Also, a bunch of people are talking about how much they love this book, and I'm a sucker for people's opinions. Enough yapping, let's start this book. Happy Monday, July 21st. When I saw that in the book, I literally freaked out because I was like, wait, this is a perfect time to stop and catch you guys up on how much I've been reading. So the last clip you probably saw was me starting One Golden Summer, and let me just say I'm like halfway through this book right now. I'm obsessed. I love everything about this book. I literally cannot put it down. I literally started annotating the book. Like, I don't know if you could tell. That's how obsessed I am. When I first started reading, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, it's a romance book. I'm so excited because I've been craving a summer romance. And this is the perfect book ever. I wish I was on a lake right now so I could like be in the scenery, but still, this is like amazing. The reason I started annotating so much is because Charlie, the male main character of this book, is literally like making me giggle. I love the chemistry between him and Alice so much. Basically, when they first meet each other, they're already like teasing each other and like flirting, and I am eating it up. Something else I'm annotating is some quotes that I find. The descriptions that Carly Fortune gives are like literally amazing. It's making me picture the story so much better than if she just said the sky is blue. She describes like the sky is filled with pinks and purples. It's like so satisfying to read. And my last annotations are relatable scenes. Even though the main character is 32 and then she has like a birthday party and turns 33, she talks a lot about being 17 again and feeling all those emotions and how she wants to go back. And even though I'm only 21, I wish I could go back to when I was 16 or 17 because I wish I could feel like a kid again, basically. She talks so much about being 17 because that was the last time she was at the lake, and now she's back when she's 33 years old, so she wants to feel like a kid again. Besides the romantic part of this book, I'm also really enjoying the childhood feel, I guess, and also learning more about Alice and how she is. Anyway, I think this book could potentially be a 5-star, which is crazy because I've never had a 5-star romance, but literally like page 30, I was giggling out loud. Like, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, what are you doing? Let me just say, I finished One Golden Summer and it is a 5-star book. Sorry I didn't film too many clips reading this book. I was so immersed into the story, and every time I read this book, it was like 3 a.m. I was literally kicking and giggling my feet at this book. It has me down bad. I think I talked about it before, but I did annotate this book. Gorgeous, I know. Charlie and Alice's relationship in this book is amazing. They are literally polar opposites, but they work so well together, and I think that's honestly what hooked me so much into this book, because Alice is really shy, but Charlie is really bold, and he does have like kind of a big ego, but I'm obsessed with it for some reason. Everything that Charlie did for Alice was intentional and on purpose, and I was honestly going to rate this book a 4.75 stars, but then the last few chapters honestly changed my rating. I did get really frustrated at one point because I was like, oh my gosh, but then it all made sense, and I was like, wait, this is amazing. Their first interaction with each other, Charlie was already teasing Alice and like flirting with her, and that's honestly what had me hooked in this book. That's honestly why I started annotating. Anything that Charlie did, I literally tabbed, especially when he called Alice nicknames, like her full name, or I think he called her Trouble, stuff like that. Anyway, I definitely recommend this book. This is the perfect summer read, and I hope you swoon over Charlie as much as I did. And unfortunately, that is where our July reading challenge is going to wrap up. So let's now recap the books that I read in this video. The first book that I read was Strange Pictures, and I gave this a 4 stars. The second book that I read was The Midnight Library, and I gave it a 3.25 stars. And the third book that I read, One Golden Summer, and I gave this 5 stars. Unfortunately, I did not meet my 4-book goal, but I'm really proud of the reading month I had. Make sure you guys check out my socials. I post my reviews on Goodreads, Storygraph, and Fable. They're all linked in my description. I also have a book talk and bookstagram, and those are linked down below as well. Anyway, I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!